Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome back to Shelf Stories, the channel that tells tales from games, books, and life. I am your host, Jason. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is a shelf help episode that I'm going to do covering the Gatekeeper Mindset, what I'm calling the Gatekeeper Mindset. I wasn't going to do a shelf help for a couple of weeks. However, I got into a little bit of a dust up over on the Dice Tower, and I felt like I wanted to make a video rather than kind of like respond to people one-on-one. I thought it was easier to kind of collect all my thoughts and put them out here. So the short story is that I reviewed Uno on the Dice Tower. Full Dice Tower review. It was in my Games for a Healthy Mind series, games that I use in therapy as a psychotherapist. Uno gets played more than any other game. I gave that one a 9 out of 10 seal of excellence. That very seal right there, seal of excellence. So that was fine. You know, I had comments and all that kind of thing. And then it was included in the weekend review. So Dice Tower every week puts out clips from the reviewers kind of looking back at what they did the past week. I said that I gave Uno 9 out of 10. And that was a problem for a couple of people. Some people were interested, but some people had, you know, some beefs. And I wanted to kind of, you know, I didn't want to just go back and forth. Like I said, I wanted to honor people's opinions, and I want to kind of take the points one by one, you know, just kind of in one shot so that people can, you know, continue the conversation, maybe in the comments below or, you know, wherever else this gets posted. By the way, if you're looking at the comments below, there's a little red button up there. Subscribe. Go ahead and check that button out. All right. So comment the first. This was probably the comment I maybe had a little bit of a tiff with, and I'm just going to get this out of the way right now. Quote, God help us if he ever gets a hold of Phase 10. So that comment kind of assumes or kind of has the implication that I don't know what I'm talking about. That I, you know, and, you know, how could anybody but like someone who's basically an idiot, you know, give, you know, a seal of excellence to a game like Uno. Again, no, I'm not saying that that's what the person's saying, but that's kind of like, you know, the implication behind a statement like that. And I just want to get the one out of the way and give some bona fides on, you know, why I think I'm qualified to do this. So I did have a podcast called Every Night is Game Night, and I had done that for 190 episodes, 5 years, around there. Reviewed games, developed relationships with publishers and designers who I think, you know, grew to really respect my opinion. I still hear from people. Still have conversation with them who respect my opinion about games. I've been reviewing them for that long. I've been playing them for even longer. So, you know, I think that I kind of know what I'm doing over here, and I'm not just like giving, you know, grades to any old game. So, we're not going to have to say anything more about that. Number 2, so 9 out of 10 for Uno. Guess I know whose tastes don't align with my own, ... That's a nice way of saying it. Basically making it about taste, as if, you know, my taste gravitates towards, you know, liking Uno, and, you know, therefore if my taste are like, or to like Uno, that my other tastes or my other opinion shouldn't be taken seriously. Let me be really, really clear about my approach to reviews. This is not about taste. I don't approach reviewing games based on my taste. It comes in, obviously. I like co-ops and solo and card games. That's my quote-unquote taste. But when I review a game, especially a game like Uno, I'm trying to review it, you know, based on what people like about it. If it was me, guys, I mean, raw Uno, rules as written Uno is about a 5 out of 10. It's not a game that I'm going to be interested in at all. Uno with the house rules, Uno with, like, you know, stacking draw twos and, you know, combining sets, adding wild cards, it gets better. Like, and that's kind of what I wanted to explain in the video. You can make Uno better, you know, and people have, many millions of people have made Uno better, make it a game that works for them. But it's still not my favorite game. I'm not personally giving it a 9 out of 10. You know, in therapy, I've tried all sorts of games. I've tried games like No Thanks and Six Nymph and Llama and Quirkle and all these games that I was like, okay, we're tired of Uno. Let's play something else. And it's like, that was cool. We're going to go back to Uno. I just had a moment, like I've been a psychotherapist using games in therapy for a couple of years now. Had a moment where I asked myself, okay, what's going on here? What is in Uno in particular? What's in the secret sauce there that people just kind of go back to it? I can get people away from Monopoly. I can get them from Monopoly to Ticket to Ride, as an example. And they're like, oh, this is a much better game than that. Uno, can't do it. It's a much stickier situation. So this isn't about my taste. This is about exploring why people, general, all sorts of people who play games come back to Uno. And, if you want to know my breakdown of that, go ahead and check out my video on that. So definitely invite you to do so. Number 3, here's a quote over here. I'm reading this off of my phone. That's why I keep on looking down. Sorry about that. My younger kids would rate Uno a 9 out of 10, where I would give a 4 out of 10. Tom Vassell, curator of the Dice Tower, you often caveat your final thoughts for kids games, which is, this is an 8 out of 10 for young kids. The assumption being that like the 9 out of 10 was meant as like a kid's rating. No. It was meant for adults. It was meant for gamers. It was meant for people who play games. It is a 9 out of 10. I'm going to stick with that for adult gamers. Not rules as written. You need those house rules. You need the people who, like I described before with the stacking and the the different ways, the permutation that people use, and then it becomes like a really surprisingly strategic game. I'm gonna quote from a basketball player who's like an Uno champion, sponsored an Uno tournament. It's pretty crazy. His name is Kent Bazemore. He says, it's such a strategized game. You can't just go up there and play reckless. Kent Bazemore is a professional basketball player. He plays a professional game for a living, and he makes tens of millions of dollars doing it. I think that he has something to, add when it comes to evaluating another game. Sport, game, whatever. It's to me, I think more broadly about this stuff, guys. And if someone is seeing something in a game, and, I guess they'll make a subset like, okay, if it has to be house rule, is it a good game? Well, that's a good point. I don't want to evaluate lots of games based on their house rules. I'm making an exception for Uno because the house rules are so universally adopted. People post about them. You get thousands, tens of thousands of likes on people who post their own house rules, their own mixed mastered, kind of like blank wild cards. They put their own rules on it. People love this stuff. So I am making an exception for this particular game. And I was honest about that. I put that in the video too. So yes, it is a 9 out of 10 meant for adults, but in a very specific context. Please watch the video if you want to understand more about that context. And then, and this is the thing where I'm just going to start to get into the shelf help part of it. There was a lot of comments, and I'd say this was probably the majority of the comments, at least the negative ones, or critical. I shouldn't say negative. They're people that are trying, their best to kind of explain their rationale, but it was critical, saying that they had a problem giving Uno the seal of excellence. That didn't feel right. That it was, there should be an excellence for kid games, excellent war games, excellent this, excellent that, or, give it a different name, or even like, maybe like standardize it, like, only Tom and Z and the people in Homestead should be able to give out the seal of excellences, and then the people that are not in Homestead, like me in Connecticut, we should be giving out something else or nothing or whatever. I don't know. Point being that there's a standard, right? There we go. Standard. Right there. Seal of excellence. Okay. So I struggle with this because I get what people are trying to do. They're trying to make this seal mean something. When they see a Dice Tower seal of excellence, when someone in our community, our gamer community, sees it, they want to know that this is a quote-unquote good game. It may not be a game for me, or so to speak, but, because the people have different tastes, but that it is a game, which means that it's fun and that there's kind of a real challenge, like there's real decisions in it, or there's a test of skill, like bluffing or dexterity or something like that. Some kind of contest of to go along with the fun. And Uno does not fit that bill, at least rules as written, because there is the game plays you, it's random. And by putting a seal of excellence on Uno, then I am cheapening this symbol. So I get it. I completely understand. I do not want the seal of excellence to be just slapped on any old game. I am not out to slap the symbol on phase 10. I'm not out to just see every single game on the Walmart shelf have a seal of excellence on it. That is not my intention. However, I think that mentality can go too far. It can go from trying to, make the symbol mean something towards gatekeeping. Gatekeeping means, okay, here are the gamers and these are not the gamers. Like there's a big gate and there's a seal on top of it, and it's like, okay, past this seal, past this gate is real, quote unquote, real games. And the reason I'm putting this in shelf help, the reason I'm noting that this mindset can be questionable is because it could go too far, and I think it can be unhealthy, and it can be unhealthy in two ways. I'm a cognitive behavioral therapist, CBT. We talk about these things called thought distortions, and there are two that I'm detecting. The first one is a black and white mentality. We are here. We are the serious gamers. They are there or out there. They are the casual gamers. We know real games. They are happy playing lesser games. There is no way that someone can look at Uno and conclude that is a good game. You could have fun. You could do that. You could, they're not like they're like beyond washed, like they're respected as gamers, but they're casuals, right? Nobody serious can look at Uno and say this is a good game. I'm putting scare quotes around, and it's a bunker mentality. It's us versus them. It's black versus white. It's distinguishing. It's and in this particular case, not like a war, but it's just kind of like hierarchalizing, right? There's like the top, and then there's everybody else, black and white. I reject that. I think there's gray. I think that Uno falls firmly in the gray between the black and white. Is it a great game? Mechanically, decision space, all that good stuff? No. Is it the same as Phase 10? Is it the same as like a lot of other mass market games that I think are kind of truly objectively bad? No. I think it exists in a middle space. And I wanted to, with my grade, explore that middle space, expand our minds about what we include beyond this gate of the Seal of Excellence. And, some people might not accept that, but at least I asked you to engage in my reasoning. I lay out my reasoning in the whole video. That this is, that we shouldn't be black and white about this stuff. Engage the content, see what I'm really saying. And there's another block that I'm detecting. This is number 2. This would be what we call labeling. I think Uno gets labeled as a mass market game. It is a game for casual players. It is a game for muggles, if you want to say, if you're a Harry Potter fan. Real gamers, again, label. You just look at the conversations about this, and I just see label all over the place. And and what makes a thing a label is it's kind of like just puts a blanket over a whole bunch of different games. So like I distinguish Uno from Paddleship and Face to, like, there's a lot of games that I won't play, but Uno stands out for various reasons. Go watch the video. But I think people have a hard time just with the label. It's a mass market game. How could it be good? It's for this people. It's not for real gamers. When I feel like labeling creates, a kind of short circuit critical thinking. And maybe at the end of the critical thinking, you'll conclude that I'm off base, and that's fine. But I don't think that people are engaging in as much critical thinking. I don't think that people are engaging with what I was saying in the video. And, some are, I think, but a lot of the comments are not. And that's what I ask. I ask that you just can engage the core content, and we can discuss. Please don't fall into that gatekeeper mindset. That gatekeeper mindset is excluding. It is not a space of critical thinking. It is closed. It is not welcoming. And who is it not welcoming? And this is, I guess I'll kind of end here. Who is it not welcoming? I say this at the end of the other video. It's not welcoming millions of people who swear by Uno. It's not welcoming Kent Bazemore, who is sponsoring Uno tournaments. It's not welcoming, the people who I've worked with, in the jails and in the social centers and in, the cities and the rural areas and all these other places that their game is Uno and they're happy with it. And it's not just because they don't know better. I have tried to show them better games. It's taken me over 15 minutes to say this, and I know I go on really long, and barely anybody's going to watch it this long. But I just feel like it's a little snobbish. I'll be just completely and utterly honest with you, and I'm being really careful with my words. I don't want to say that people are snobs. That is not my thing. I do not insult people ever. Gamers, everybody is good, but the mindset, the mindset, the thing that can change, hopefully, within a person, I just feel is a little bit snobbish. I talk about exclusion. I talk about lack of critical thinking. I mean, that's the constitutive elements of something that's snobbish, and I just feel like the gatekeeper mentality falls into that. And if I have to explain why that's not very mentally healthy, then we have some problems here. I get what it's trying to do is trying to not diminish that, right? And I'm not trying to diminish that. In fact, I'm trying to expand it. And it feels a little bit uncomfortable, feels unfamiliar. It feels like I'm letting the barbarians in the gates. Everything counts. Everything, nothing matters. Engage the content. Watch the video. I'm being very specific about this particular game. And guess what? Other games. Like it or not, Tom has delegated power of seal of approval to me in my reviews. And anybody who appears doing a discrete video reviews for the Dice Tower, we get the seal of excellence, and it is coming for other for other ones. Not Monopoly, just on the record right now, not Monopoly. That one is a little rough, and the house rules make it a little bit worse. Longer. Even so, either way, it's not that good. But there are some other ones that I'm going to review as well, and it's going to get the Healthy Mind brand of Seal of Excellence. And should there be different Seals of Excellences? Well, that's not how it works. A game is excellent or it's not, and it's for our community at large, or it's not. So that's all I got to say. Thank you very much if you've made it this far in the video. Yes, I know I'll go on a little bit too long. Very self-conscious of that, mentioning it twice, but whatever. Anyway, if you like what you hear, regardless of the length, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's down there. For shelf stories, please like the video. Share it out. Let your peoples know, especially if they are non-gamers and they want to hear a defense of their favorite game. So until next time, this is Jason reminding you, if you could change your mind, you could change the world. So until next time, later, everybody.